Success consists of getting up just one more time than you fall. Words of wisdom from Oliver Goldsmith. Welcome to McBain Moments. Alright guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, if you enjoy my work, please consider becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/JulianMcBain to become a patron. Success consists of getting up just one more time than you fall. And what brought this up was actually a post that a friend of mine made on Facebook. And the post was, when you are pushed down, why do you get up again? And it wasn't, well, why would you do it? It was more like, what is the reason that keeps you going? He wanted to know what keeps us moving. And I saw plenty of answers on there from, because I'm the only one who can do it, because I've got a family to take care of. Several of them said spite, which it was probably more joking than anything, but I do know people who push on just because of spite. But the reason that I put on there, and I got a little lengthy on the answer, was I keep getting up because I'm the only one responsible for my success. If I don't get up, I'm giving up. I'm giving up on who I could be. I'm giving up on who I should be. I'm giving up on my family, and I'm giving up on all of the things that I have worked on. Because when you give up, you not only surrender your future successes, but you also give up all the progress you made. Because you might think, oh no, I can stay right where I am and I'll be in a holding pattern for the rest of my life and everything will be good. No, that's not how it works. That is a myth. And as they used to say on one of my favorite TV shows, myth busted. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. That's the natural order of things. That's the law of entropy. You're either constantly moving forward or you're moving backward. Because once you start to stagnate, entropy will inevitably sink in and decay will start. Now that doesn't mean that you don't run into something you have to take a step back. That's different. That's realignment. That's strategic. That's okay. As long as it's not like, well, I got to realign. Now I got to realign again. Now I got to step back in. Now I guess no, that's retreating. That's different. But if you run into a wall and it's like, oh, okay, I'm not compatible with this, but I see this opportunity over here. I am compatible. Let's take a step back, move laterally, and move forward again. That's fine. What's not fine is saying, well, I guess this is the end of things. Let's just sit here on our on the pile that we have, you know, our pile of success and gold and whatever have you, and we'll just stay here for the rest of our lives. And then you watch it dwindle, and you can't figure out why, because you're not adding to it. And that's, I think, one of the hardest things to really figure out, is that it is never enough. What you have will never be enough. And I don't mean that from a greed standpoint. I'm not talking about, you know, I gotta have more, I gotta have... No, here's the problem. You get to a certain point. The items that you own, the chairs that you sit in, the table in your kitchen, your stove, all of these things decay. You don't see it, but wear, tear, damage, electrical surge, you know, your car, road salt. Well, in Vermont it's road salt. Most other places don't use road salt because they all know that it melts cars. But at least not the salt we use. All of these things decay, and it chews into that stagnated success. Now that's where your money starts to, you can't figure out why it doesn't stretch as much anymore. Well, then you add in inflation and that just blows everything up. And it may be that, you know, you're like, well, money isn't everything. Well, no, of course it's not everything, but here's the thing. Money, people see money as an object, and it's not. I mean, yes, you can hold it in your hand, you can hand it to people, but really, It's not an object per se, or an object as such. It is a measurement tool. It is nothing but a measurement tool to show you where you are in the ladder of the hierarchy that we live in. And you can bitch about the hierarchy all you want. It doesn't matter what country you live in or what system you use. There's always going to be a hierarchy. And in your own job, the easiest way most people see to measure that, of course, is their paycheck. When you own things, it's how much you bring home at the end of the month. I hate to say it, but that's often the way it works. Frankly, it's the easiest measure of success, even though it's also the laziest. Because you can be really successful and not have a lot of money, depending on what you're actually trying to be successful in. I could be a master swordsman. I'm not yet, but I could be a master swordsman and dirt poor. I am very successful as a swordsman. Doesn't mean I'm successful in my career. And if that's what I want to focus on, that's fine. But the reason I use money as an allegory is because it is the easiest tool to measure with. Because something like being a master swordsman, that's a damned hard thing to measure. There's no, you can't, unfortunately, real life doesn't have an XP bar. Because if it did, it'd be a hell of a lot easier to figure shit out. But if you think about it, it doesn't matter what track of success you're on. If you stop developing yourself, the skills will atrophy. And if you say, well, I'm just going to keep practicing, then you're still developing. And that's something that most people don't get. Just because you've hit a plateau or you've hit some sort of a ceiling, you can't figure out how to get above it, doesn't mean you're not developing. It means you got to figure out something. See, this is where I'm at. I've hit a ceiling in my swordsmanship. I'm trying to figure out how to break through. And that's okay. Eventually I will. The last time I hit a ceiling, I found a mentor. And over the course of the next 3 years, I saw some pretty rapid development once I broke through that plateau. Well, I've hit another plateau. Eventually, I'm going to figure out how to break through the plateau. But that's really hard to measure in comparison to where I am in my career. So just keep that in mind as you think about what it is you're aiming for in your life. How do you measure it? Because what gets measured gets accomplished. That's a Dan Pena-ism. And if you ever want to hear a success story, look up Dan Pena. There isn't a better one out there. Whatever it is you're looking to be successful in, never stop working at it. Because the instant you stop is the instant you start losing. You've got this. This has been a McBain moment.